Good morning everybody, welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the weekend in 6th of September 2025. Keir's reset goes askew and there's quite a to-do as his number 2 doesn't pay stamp duty due, leaving the government in a stew. Xi has a rendezvous with the gruesome two to celebrate the end of World War II with a military tattoo. A Farage coup as he has managed to woo Nadine on the eve of reform's big do. The world mourns a fashion guru. On July the 4th last year, when Labour arrived as a beacon of virtue to protect the deprived, and with the Tories banished, hope was revived, optimism for change everywhere thrived. But by the beginning of 2025, that positivity was no longer alive, and its leader's popularity had taken a dive, and from his own party he was feeling the knives. Now it's back to school after the long summer holes, and Sir Keir finds himself in the biggest of holes. A good time for the big challenge to be met, and Starmer chose to have a government reset. Accepting things hadn't been going too well, he made a few changes to personnel. But by the end of the week it looked more like panic, like deck chairs being shuffled on the Titanic. Angela Rayner triggered it when she became toast over a second home she'd bought on the south coast. She'd called it her first home because her other house had been put into a trust with her former spouse. The tax law involved is not easy to understand, and she'd underpaid stamp duty by 40 grand. And if you don't pay your taxes right and proper, HMRC will ensure you come a cropper. And when you're housing minister, the boob's a real whopper, and to plead ignorance is a bit of a jaw-dropper. For Starmer it was the final showstopper, and he had no alternative but to drop her. To be fair to Anne, she dropped herself in the end with the letter of resignation she chose to send, having referred herself to the ethics advisor, whose verdict was effectively the decider. Keir backed his deputy in the Commons to the hilt, but then came confirmation of her guilt, and by Friday he realised it would be sensible to stop defending the indefensible, trying to make her second home indetectable so that stamp duty was not collectible was quite an unedifying spectacle for a party trying to appear respectable. And Ange herself had always been first out the traps to pounce on Tory misdemeanours and mishaps. So, for her opponents, this was karma, while her fall from grace spells disaster for Starmer. She was his human shield, his body armour. For they left flank to harm him, they first had to harm her. And Rayner's departure caused a massive kerfuffle, leading to a major cabinet reshuffle. On Wednesday, Kim Jong-un, Putin and Xi Jinping watched a military parade in Beijing. Fourth-generation kit proudly displayed amid soldiers on regimental parade, and the three autocrats found conversation, maybe on the topic of world domination. And amidst the stiff-suited formality, a hot mic picked up words about immortality. Yes, the Kremlin coward mused to Xi, if he could possibly live to 150. The guy who thrives on causing disarray, disposing of human life every day, now boasting about his secret endeavour to find ways to make his own life last forever. It seems he thinks there's no reason why he can't, with an endless supply of body transplants. Given the number of people he kills, that supply can easily be fulfilled. Aside from Chinese whispers from the Russian weevil, this 3-day summit dubbed the axis of upheaval, was a meeting of minds of the medieval, hankering for an imperialistic world retrieval, where only big nations and strong men prosper with an aggressive and belligerent posture. The goose-stepping parade was intended to celebrate 80 years since the last World War ended, but this show of strength in Tiananmen Square may have shown how close we are to going back there. Monday, the transfer window came to an end after a record-breaking £3 billion soccer spend. On Thursday, in the form of Nadine, British politics had one of its own transfer stories. However, as far as we understand, Nadine's switch required no money changing hands. From Farage and Reform, just massive thanks to welcome a former Tory big beast to their ranks. Thursday, on the eve of their conference, was good timing for Reform UK to unveil their new signing. Just a shame for Nige that Ange's tax blunder somewhat stole his well-choreographed thunder. Their Brum powwow was still a ball. They're on a roll. Just 5 MPs, but smashing every poll. Like Reform, the Greens, with just a handful of MPs at municipal level, are still pulling up trees. On Tuesday they had a new leader voted in, as Zach Polanski had a huge election win. He won it large and now he's been put in charge. Some say he's like a left-leaning Farage. Straight-talking, charismatic, the new head of the Greens generally means what he says and says what he means. Giorgio Armani had great talent and a passion for creating distinctive, influential fashion. Born in northern Italy, an accountant's son, built a classic brand some say was second to none. On Thursday he passed away, aged 91.